The function 1 over x is the best function to explain limit of a function at infinity. So if you see a graph basically as x approaches to infinity, just follow the graph, look all the way to the right. As x approaches to infinity, follow the graph, look all the way to the left. So take a look at the function 1 over x. 1 over x has a horizontal asymptote at y equals to 0, and 1 over x has a vertical asymptote at x equals to 0. But we do not need the vertical asymptote to explain this problem. So horizontal asymptote y equals to 0. That means as x approaches to infinity, you look at the orange curve and then you look all the way to the right. Do we agree that the curve is getting closer and closer and closer to the x-axis, but the curve will never intersect or touch or go across the x-axis? All right, so that means as x approaches to infinity, we have 1 divided by an extremely large value. Just take out your calculator, type 1 divided by a very large value like 10 millions, 60 millions. What is the quotient? The quotient is not exactly equals to 0, but the quotient is very, very small and very, very close to 0. So that as a result, y approaches to 0. All right, how about negative infinity? As you look all the way to the left, the curve, this piece, the curve on the left is getting closer and closer to the horizontal asymptote, but will never touch the horizontal asymptote. That means as x goes all the way to negative infinity, we have 1 divided by negative infinity. Imagine that you have 1 divided by 90 millions, negative 90 millions. The answer is very, very close to 0. So we will just write that is equal to 0. All right, the next graph, we have a yellow curve, and then I am asking negative infinity and positive infinity. So as x approaches to positive infinity, so you are looking at this piece, as x approaches to positive infinity, what happened to the function? Go all the way up, right? So this is positive infinity. As x approaches to negative infinity, you are looking at this piece, what happened? The function, the curve goes all the way down, so this is negative infinity. All right, the next one, you have f of x, so it looks like we have 2 horizontal asymptotes, one at pi over 2, one at negative pi over 2. So as x approaches to negative infinity, you are looking at this piece. So y goes all the way to negative infinity, then the curve is approaching to negative pi over 2. So we will write negative pi over 2. On the other side, as x approaches to positive infinity, the curve is getting closer and closer to pi over 2. So as a result, we write pi over 2. All right, let's take a look at a few more limits. So we have 3 more limits right here. So this one, we have infinity plus 1. What is infinity plus 1? Imagine that you have a very large value, like 600 millions. All right, you add 1 to it, then the very large value is still a very large value. And then once you take 2 divided by an extremely large number, you can try this on your calculator right now. You type 2 divided by, and then you type a very large value. And then once you hit enter, what do you see? You will see that the quotient is extremely small, not exactly equal to 0, because 2 is not 0, right? If you have 0 divided by 1 million, of course you get a 0, but you have a 2 in the numerator. You take that divided by an extremely large value. What's the result? The result is something close to 0. Oh, I am sure that if you are doing like 2 divided by 99999, your calculator will show you a decimal, and then on the right hand side there is an e negative something, right? So if you see this on your calculator, so let's say 2.3, and then there are a bunch of number, and then e negative 10. This is a scientific notation. That means you have 2.3 times 10 to the negative 10. Or let me just give you another number. So let's say you see a negative 18. That means you have 2.3 times 10 to the raised to the negative 18 power. This is called scientific notation. All right. So overall, 2 divided by infinity is equal to 0. And then the next one, you have a negative infinity minus 3. So that remains at negative infinity. You take negative 5 divided by that, you will just get a 0. And then this one, you have a very large value. You add 6 to it. That is just infinity. And then when a limit equals to infinity, we often write the limit does not exist. We cannot determine what y equals to as x approaches to infinity. Oh, by the way, infinity is not an exact value. Infinity, what is the biggest value that you can come up in your mind? Can you write down such value on a piece of paper? The answer is no, right? We don't know what the biggest value is. So since we don't know, just don't say we don't know. We use an infinity symbol to represent such mystery value. That is infinity. It's not an exact value. That's why we write does not exist. All right, that is the end of this video. If you think my instruction is helpful, give me a like, share the video for me, click the subscribe button if you're on your way out. I will see you all in the next video. Signing out for now.